The following are three newspaper editorials, all real, documented, published accounts of Bigfoot. Canada town hunts for injured Bigfoot. Prairie, British Columbia. Dozens of persons trudged through the woods near this small mountain community Sunday, investigating a youth claim he shot a Sasquatch, the legendary, elusive Bigfoot. Tim Meisner, 16, said he and three friends were fishing on Dunn Lake about 40 miles north of Kamloops last Saturday when they heard a high-pitched screech that lasted about 30 seconds. Meisner said he looked toward the opposite bank a time to see a creature about 300 yards away, standing with its arms raised before it turned and ran into the bush. The youth crossed the lake and found the body of a deer, its neck apparently broken, camouflaged by a blanket of branches and moss. 2 days later, Mesner and his friends returned to the site, and Mesner again spotted the creature staring at him from about 50 feet away. He was about 9 feet tall, black and hairy, said Meisner. He had a human-like face with great, big, glaring bright eyes and shoulders 4 feet wide. The two stared at each other for a few seconds. Then a very scared Meisner fired his Remington rifle. I was aiming for right between his eyes, and he went down on one knee and one hand. At first I thought he was dead, but I guess I only grazed him, because he got up and ran away at about 30 miles an hour. Meisner said one of his friends had a camera, but was below an embankment and could not see the creature. The high school student said he had no doubt that what he saw was a Sasquatch. The man-animal said to roam the wilds of British Columbia and Washington State. I couldn't have been any other animal, and it wasn't a human, because no human can run that fast, especially straight up an embankment. His report drew dozens of people to the bush around Prairie in search for the Sasquatch, but not all local residents are convinced. Ken Wright, civilian radio operator with Kamloops Royal Canadian Mounted Police, said Meisner probably shot a bear. Bears are just coming out of hibernation, and they look pretty scruffy this time of year. This next one is from Nevada State Journal, 1964. Hideous screams heard. Ape-faced 10-foot man sighted in Sierra snow. Pinecrest, California. A pilot flying a small plane near this tiny resort community recently said he saw what appeared to be a 10-foot man with an ape-like face standing in the snow, watching the plane fly over. The pilot reported the incident, which supposedly happened in the backcountry near Pinecrest, to the sheriff's office in Sonora, but deputies there would not release his name or elaborate on the report. Huge footprints. A broadcaster from a radio station in Sonora said Friday he had talked to a sheriff's deputy stationed in Pinecrest, and the deputy, Albert Miller, said he had been called out to Pinecrest City Dump late last week to investigate a set of huge footprints found in the snow. Miller said the prints were very large and about 6 feet apart. The deputy said they were definitely not bear tracks. Approximately a year ago, residents of Pinecrest area reported hearing hideous screams coming from the woods near their homes and told of seeing a gigantic man dressed in animal hides running through the forest in the early evenings, seen in bushes. About a month after the reports of a screaming veteran backwoods pilot and a Pacific Gas and Electric employee on a snow survey near Pinecrest said they saw the creature standing in some bushes in the wilderness when they flew in at a low level to take a photograph. They said it ran into the woods. The two men estimated the creature to be about 4 feet taller than the foliage it was standing in, and they landed and measured them. The bushes were 6 feet. Sheriff Miller Sardella of Sonora said Friday he has no intention of sending deputies into the backwoods to search for the supposed monster. If and when he breaks the law, we'll go after him. As long as he doesn't leave anything wrong, we'll leave him alone, Sardella said. So this last editorial is kind of interesting. It's an ad for a reward for Bigfoot from California, 1960, June 9, the Oakland Tribune. Abominable no man, if you're going up country between now and July, keep your eyes open for Bigfoot. This is king-size things whose elephantine tracks have been seen all over the woods out of Weaverville for the past several years. Various described as too big for a grizzly, but too hairy for a man. Anyway, if you see him, you'll know him, and if you catch him, holler for somebody. At Weaverville Junior Chamber of Commerce, they'll rush right over and give you a $5,000 reward, figuring it's all worth it for publicity for their first annual Bigfoot celebration up there, July 2, 3, and 4. So overall, three interesting stories. Well, this last one, just a bit of a advertisement. I thought it was pretty interesting that they would actually put a reward out for this Bigfoot. Um, to them, it's definitely very real, no question about it. The first two equally interesting. Nevada State Journal, the sheriffs and the people of the community were definitely convinced this was a being of some sort. It was no ghost story. It was definitely something. The sheriff stating we'll leave him alone until he does something illegal. So to them at that time, this is something definitely real. Something was out there. And the first one, the story about the 16-year-old boy who supposedly shot him. Also interesting. The fact that he shot him, it appears he was injured, but not fatally. Okay, maybe the guy was a bad shot, but there should have been blood, there should have been a trail, there should have been something. And the police just wrote it off as there, but I don't know. I'm starting to think that Bigfoot might be some kind of interdimensional creature, so he may have some properties that are different to us.